I don't want to come to work anymore and put on my little suit and tie and play Mr. Lawyer or Mr. Businessman. I want to eat cheese and hang out.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy coming to you with our what are you laughing about
I
now?
just didn't know you were starting at that exact second, and I was talking to myself like an idiot.
Like my great aunt Dottie used to do.
That's right.
She'd just wander around with her flask of vodka, just talking to herself in her back patio. Oh, Dottie, I miss you. We are you have derailed this entire thing, Eric. We enjoy. We're coming to you with the final film in our Kurt Russell Fest, which is Breakdown, which will be in the main event today. We are the Magnitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hi, everybody.
My Aunt Dottie was. I won't go into the full history of her. My mom's mother's sister, and she ran away from home, their farm in Ohio, when she, I don't know, 15 or 16, and she went to New York City, Eric, as a teenager.
The big city, the Big Apple.
She was a taxi dancer. She was a diamond dance girl in a dance hall, and met and married a ukulele player, my great uncle Walter, who was the band who was playing in the dance hall. And that's the story of the Digriuses of New Jersey, of Pluckham, New Jersey. Okay. But anyway, she was also an on-again, off-again actor in community theater in New Jersey and would do stage roles. So I cast her in my NYU, final NYU student film as an old woman who gets poisoned by a woman who's after her apartment. Did you ever see any of my awful, horrible, terrible student films?
Yeah. You showed me a couple of them at least.
That I scored. Some of them I scored with Mike Patton's solo voice album.
And you used Face to Face by using the Banshees in one of them.
That was a video project. That is true. I did use that. That was for video. Okay. Enough about me and my great aunt Dottie being in one of my student films. Man, I'm gonna miss Kurt Russell, Eric.
I mean, Kurt Russell is healthy and well, guys.
I know. Well, here's the thing. So we just did 4 Kurt Russell movies. Again, we will do Kurt Russell movies once more. I don't know if we'll ever do another block, another chunk, another 4-movie run of Kurt Russell, but he'll definitely show up again.
Via his franchises.
But Breakdown, Eric, in the main event today is the best reviewed movie we've done of this foursome. Like if you look at the Rotten Tomato score, Breakdown's the one that people like the most, that critics weren't split on the most. It's in the 80s at least, whereas the other, some of them were. First of all, Computer Wore Tennis Shoes was a solid 50% because I think four people reviewed it back.
Well, I was going to say, because it's not going to be a lot of reviews, and it's not like one of those movies.
And one of them was Gene Siskel, who's
right, because what happens with some old movies, if they're like big cult things, is that they get more modern reviews added, which is always strange. But Computer Wore Tennis Shoes is not getting like a bunch of like modern website reviews to up that score.
Nor is it having people going back and finding a negative review, so that's no longer like the most positively.
What did that happen?
And Paddington 2. Well, Paddington 2
right.
beats something. I don't know, like To Kill a Mockingbird. No, Citizen Kane. Wasn't it Citizen Kane?
Might have been.
They went back into the archives and found some troll that hated Citizen Kane. It was actually Mank. All right. So Breakdown, solid thriller, talking about it in the second half of this podcast. Shakedown, breakdown, takedown. Everybody wants into the crowded line, Eric.
Yes.
Breakdown, takedown. Finish it off.
I don't remember.
You busted. Come on.
I remember that part. I mean, I remember that
you're
part.
in the Silver Bullet Band.
I remember
Beverly Hills
that
Cop
part.
2.
I just didn't remember we were at that part. Well, obviously we're going to talk about breakdown in length at the end of this podcast, but I'll say I watched it a couple weeks ago because the Blu-ray was coming out and I was interviewing Jonathan Mostow for
Physical Media. Mission to Mostow.
And then tonight, speaking of physical media, I watched it with audio commentary by Mr. Mostow and Mr. Kurt Russell.
Well, look at the Mr. Insight, who's going to have all the behind-the-scenes stories to tell.
I will, but also, Matt, you know what listening to a Kurt Russell audio commentary does? Makes you want to hang out with Kurt Russell.
Hang out with Kurt Russell. Hollywood. I don't know. He's conservative Republican, but has managed to keep his trap shut so that nobody has labeled him the worst Kurt on Twitter.
Right.
The way they have his movie son, Chris Pratt. So, well, even the way you were talking about that Tombstone interview last week, it sounded like he was just a great storyteller.
Yes.
I mean, normally
that guy can tell a yarn, Matt.
He's a guy we'd like to grab a beer with, but
right.
I don't drink, and Eric doesn't drink beer. So
I drink a beer with Kurt Russell.
If it was Kurt Russell, yeah, I would make an exception too. What would I drink? I don't know, a Corona. That's what I used to like. Okay, so
did you see the photos I posted tonight of IGN Coco 2011?
Yes, I remember that bar too. That was off of the sort of the lodgy type.
Yeah. I got drunk.
You did.
That's like the only time I got drunk at like an IGN thing too.
You got drunk, and it wasn't like a Comic-Con party or anything. It was an actual just IGN.
And in my defense, I was not the only one who got drunk that
night.
No.
But as the person rooming with you.
Yes.
And walking back to our room together afterward, where you're just like, I'm drunk. Like you're just kicking rocks.
Because I don't get drunk much, A, in life, and B, I never got drunk at any other IGN event. So that one definitely stands out. It was just one of those nights, though. I mean, I kind of semi-referenced it in my tweet, but like it was a night where, like, for whatever reason, everyone cut loose. It was like a lot of people that.
Oh my God, was it like our 7th grade trip to Washington D.C.?
Yes, it was just like that.
Where we came back and someone told their parents.
We got in trouble, guys.
We got in trouble because we didn't get in trouble on the trip. We got in trouble afterwards because I don't know who it was. Juliana Krause snitched to their parents and said all the sordid things that were going on, of which Eric and I were a part of none of.
No.
We sat in our room and watched Kevin Meaney's comedy special.
That was on the list, Matt. You didn't see it.
Oh no, that was what her mom objected to the most.
Right. This actor brought sucks to primetime TV.
Not that the back of the bus was quote unquote a sexual haven.
Yes.
Yeah, but everyone was going in and out of. Everyone was going into other people's rooms. Like, I'm not saying like for debaucherous activity, but like,
yeah,
there were 2 teacher proctors and they went to sleep, and everyone just room hopped, and we weren't supposed to. You were supposed to stay in your room, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Right. But we did enjoy that Kevin Meaney.
We did, because he sang the I Don't Care song.
Right.
Anyway,
Kevin Meaney was a stand-up comic that Matt and I enjoyed.
Happy 25 IGN. And
yes, happy 25.
Kevin Meaney is a late comedian, whereas JT Walsh is a late actor. We'll talk about him later on.
Mm-hmm.
Both were big in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
So let's break down some news before we get into a few.
Let's what some news, Matt?
Break down, take down, shake down. You busted. Now you got it. Now you know you busted.
Now I'm in it.
That was a good song. That was a well-made video too. They used to make those movie related videos really well, showing some key action scenes paired up with the lyrics.
Those are good times.
They were. Remember the I haven't even gotten to the news yet. Remember the Cradle of Love video, Billy Idol's Cradle of Love video? That
how could anyone who was a growing boy during that era?
I'm not talking about the nubile teen who was sprawling in all over the bed. I'm talking about the fact that they couldn't use footage of
Andrew
Dice Clay from the movie because he had been banned from MTV. So even footage of him in Ford Fairlane, the movie, couldn't be used, and they just had to show like the limo chase and Robert Englund and like
Wayne Newton made it, and yeah. But do you remember how technically that ban was broken on MTV?
Wait, what do you mean that band? Billy
The
Idol?
ban, Andrew Dice Clay being banned from MTV was sort of kind of broken in one funny way.
Yeah, that was EMF. Unbelievable.
The EMF Unbelievable, which samples him, was a heavy rotation, big hit.
I couldn't wrap my head around your question at first.
Okay.
The band that broke it. I was like, what band broke it? Anyway, I remember that video, not just for the girl who was very important to teenage boys at the time, but the guy in the video who, and I understand you're not going to put an old there. Like the song is called "Cradled Love." It's a touchy topic as it is.
It's a song that these days would get a lot more talked about.
It's literally about probable or hypothetical statutory rape.
But you know what? A lot of songs were about that.
They were like Winger. She's only 17. Anyway,
yeah.
So, the guy is watching her. Is he watching her through a peephole or just watching her in the room?
No. She comes over
and puts on a dance for him.
Says like her stereo's broken or something. Yeah. And wants to play her music at his place.
But he looks like he's like young. He looks like he's young enough to play a teenager on a TV show.
Right.
Like obviously the guy's in his 20s.
Yeah, he looks like mid to late 20s. So I get what you mean.
But I'm saying like he could still pass as like a youngster on TV.
Yes.
So it's just weird that he's getting so hot and bothered by this girl. And I'm not saying there isn't an age discrepancy. I'm saying that Hollywood wise, there isn't. And so he's going full like Jack Tripper, like sweating and like I think he mops his brow with his tie because he's all straight laced and has glasses.
Do you remember? Sorry, go.
No. I was just gonna say that he always seemed like he was her age, is what I'm trying to say. Because
he's acting like an awkward teenager in her presence. Yeah.
But also like he's supposed to be a quote unquote grown up in this, but he looks super young and he, like a corporate businessman grown up.
Right. I
understand that they're not going to get the old man from Requiem for a Dream who says ass to ass, but I'm saying
I think he's like a guy who's working in the mailroom he's a young executive wannabe maybe. Matt, do you remember my manager from Virgin Megastore who went with us to a Mike Patton concert?
God, no.
Okay.
Like not at all.
Okay. Anyway,
what Mike Patton concert did we go to? We went and saw
Thomas, maybe.
I don't remember anyone else there. I mean, I don't remember anyone else there except me and you. Just you and me and the band. Like I don't remember the crowd.
She went with us to a Mike Patton show. There are many.
I was going to say we saw Faith No More too. Okay, yeah.
No, it was one of the small ones. But this was one of the small ones.
The Trube. Yeah,
it was at the Trube or at the Whiskey. But she, I'm sure I told this story to you, and maybe I told it on the podcast before. But anyway, she got asked out while working at Virgin Megastore with me. I mean, I wasn't present when this happened, but Billy Idol was her customer, has many famous customers at that store, and he liked the look. She was an attractive redhead.
Okay,
she had short hair.
I remember this story. I just don't remember her coming with us.
Okay, yeah, she went with it to a concert, but yeah, she Billy Idol asked her out, and she went on a date with him. And I did not get any juicy stories. I just know she went on a date with.
Well, that's not even a story worth bringing up then. If you
it's my only Billy Idol story, damn it.
That's true. Not many people have an actual Billy Idol story. I went and saw that show again, Eric, because Fantomas played the Troubadour a few times. So I went a second time after I saw them with you and this supposed other person that came with us with Charmaine. I don't know if we were married at the time or not. Man, what year would have this been? Let's not get into this.
It also could have been Tomahawk. Looking at the years, I feel like it cost.
No. They didn't. Tomahawk didn't play at the Trube. It was Fantomas. But anyway, I went again with Charmaine, and right as we walked in, because Charmaine was hot, they were like, go upstairs to the VIP lounge.
I remember this story as well.
So we got to go upstairs to the VIP lounge and watch the show from there because it's a balcony, but there's glass and stuff, and you can actually walk out into the balcony seats if you want. But the band went on late. The opening act ended, and I was gonna say Tomahawk again. You got me Tomahawk on the brain.
Should we not explain who's Mike Patton?
No, because then we have to get into the fact that they canceled the Faith No More tours of the fall because he needed some time off.
And we wish him well
for mental health issues, and we do wish him well. Anyway, but I'm like, Fantomas is not going on. It has been a long time. And that's when I noticed that Mike Patton was sitting at the bar in the VIP lounge wearing his Lakers jersey. And the reason they weren't starting the show is because the Lakers game wasn't over. And so he was watching it on the TV at the bar, and it was in overtime. And so that's why they were late going on, because he wanted to wait for the end of the show. The sports show.
Sports show.
All right. That was a lot of rambling about our lives. So let's talk about the other part of our lives, television. Netflix this past weekend held a, what would you call it? Their first ever fan event, but also like big announcement, newsy.
Yeah, look, it's the DC fandom template. I think we're going to see a lot more of this after DC fandom.
With own studios and streaming services just... having their own Comic-Con.
Right, which everyone was wondering would happen anyway. And obviously there was already D23 from Disney and different things, but then everything went virtual, and it kind of left this opening, which DC, and of all the virtual events, like DC fandom got kind of some of the best reaction because they managed to kind of spruce it up visually a little more. It felt a little more like a true event than some of them that can feel very stagnant, including, frankly, San Diego Comic-Con, which when you're watching virtually is just mostly people just talking in boxes via Zoom. But DC fandom did something a little spruced up. And so I felt like TUDUM, or however you say it, it's a very stupid name, was...
It's Netflix based on the noise that the Netflix logo makes when you turn on the app, right?
Yeah, but come on.
It's dumb. No, I'm not saying it's not dumb. I'm not saying it's not the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm just saying that that's what it is. That's what they were going for, at least.
Right.
But when I see it, I want to say TUDUM or TUDUM. I don't want to say TUDUM. They need an H in there. They need a TUHDUM.
I don't know. It feels like someone had that idea and they just couldn't back out of it because... I don't know. I get why you'd come up with it when you're brainstorming, but I just feel like something else would have been better. But yeah, so they did their first big virtual junket, which, being Netflix, being the fact that they have 10 million pieces of content, I assume they are going to probably make this annual, that they could do it twice a year if they wanted. If they wanted to do fall and spring to done.
They could have just called it. I'm sorry, I'm hung up on the name. They could have just called it Conflicts.
Right.
Anyway, okay, keep going.
No, I mean, that's all I had to say about.
Yeah. So anyway, they had news. They showed new footage from the Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot movie Red Notice. They showed the trailer for Army of Thieves, which is the prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. They showed some more footage from the movie looks really fun. Don't Look Up, which is Adam McKay's end of the world comedy that's got Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And
a million other stars.
They showed the opening credits for Cowboy Bebop, which everyone lost their shit about, and that's still on my list of things I really, I have my list, and there's the things I want to watch sooner than later, right?
Yes.
Cowboy Bebop being one of them. But what am I doing? I'm watching Midnight Mass over again.
Well, that's on brand. So.
Which I will say is very rewarding, and maybe even more rewarding than the first time, because there's so many lines and things that once you know what's coming, everything makes more sense and means more in a way. So anyway,
as someone, by the way, who absolutely loved Midnight Mass 2 as well, there hasn't been a sequel. It's funny, Matt, because I saw, it was one of those things where you would tweet something about Midnight Mass, and I saw some of the replies you were getting, and I almost replied, but I was like, I shouldn't reply to this random person. You can decide to or not, just because it was someone who was like, they did a thing about like, I guess if you like people talking
No,
and talking.
Okay, here's the thing, Eric. I don't.
Whatever they said, I was like, Matt loves the way they described it. I was like, oh, this is Matt's jam.
But you understand that you get into the weeds with certain Twitter responses way more than I do.
Sure,
I do it all
forever.
I just absolutely ignored that response. Like someone's trying to draw me out. Someone who follows me. It's not a rando. Someone who follows me is just and breaking that Twitter etiquette of like when someone says they like something, there is no reason. In fact, do not reply with I didn't like the thing and here's why. Nobody gives a shit. It's not an invitation for your contrary opinion. So when that happens, I just absolutely ignore it. When people do it too many times, I eventually mute them if it's a repeat offender. Okay. Midnight Mass second watch. If you liked it the first time, you loved it like Eric and I did, watch it again. I highly recommend it. Okay. So, and then they had a teaser for Stranger Things 4, and they had season renewal announcements for The Witcher, and something I was very pleased to hear about because I never know, Sex Education, because season 3 just aired a few weeks ago, and like most of these shows, I would say with the binge model, it drummed up a bit of conversation for about a day and a half, and then it faded away very quickly. Like it's just what happened. So when that happens, I get worried because there's no discourse online about it at all. In fact, some people were like, I didn't even know it came and went. Right. So, but
no, honestly, and I had seen zero promotion for it. It was only because of Twitter that I knew it was, back with a new season.
So Sex Education is coming back. The Witcher, unsurprisingly, got an early renewal ahead of season 2, but also they announced that there will be another anime movie as well as
Witcher Babies.
Yeah, Jim Henson's Witcher Babies. There's going to be a kids-oriented, kids-targeted Witcher cartoon. So yeah,
it's fascinating to me. And again, I have not seen The Witcher. It does not call to me just in general. And the responses I heard from people who I trust were not like glowing enough to make me think I need to watch The Witcher. But it's unequivocally obvious. I say unequivocally, which is so funny with Netflix because everything about their actual viewership is so mysterious. But clearly The Witcher is a huge deal for them because they are franchising the shit out of this thing very, very quickly, to the point that I don't know if you saw the Twitter convo I was having today with a bunch of people, Matt, with Feinberg and Miles and Leslie, about just it's interesting to note how quickly and hard and fast they are franchising The Witcher versus, say, Stranger Things, which is also clearly a huge hit for them and one they fully own, versus The Witcher, which is a licensed title. So it's just like, we were theorizing all sorts of things about how, like, contractually and this and that and things might have changed now that a new show like The Witcher, they're just like, we are all in. We've only aired one season of this show.
So I have a few theories. Not a few theories. One theory, and then something else to say. One is that also from this Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos said of Stranger Things that a franchise is being bored, sort of hinted at.
That's what began that. Yeah,
hinting at the fact that spinoffs for Stranger Things are in development, are in consideration, are on the way. Who knows where they are in the process of this? But like Eric was saying, they leapt on Witcher so fast. They are 3 or 4 years late to Stranger Things spinoffs as far as like being a hit. It's not as extreme as by season 8 of Walking Dead. They're like, let's have all these massive spinoffs and then a Carol and Daryl like after series, all these things when interest had waned in The Walking Dead so greatly. This is not striking when the iron was hot, right? They struck when the iron was hot with the first spinoff. For The Walking Dead, but anything after that, I don't know where the expression "beating a dead horse" comes from. I guess it's like trying to get a horse to ride and it's dead. It's really grim. So
it's grim.
Yeah, right. Like you're just beating it. Okay, so or it's like horse beating is something you do, but you don't do it to a dead horse. I don't know. Someone needs to talk to Wyatt Earp about this because he did not like people beating on horses.
No, he did not.
But yeah, so whether or not they actually do Stranger Things spinoffs, we don't know, but they hinted at it. Witcher, though, because it's from Witcher has built-in lore and a built-in world and characters we haven't even met yet, and these books and these stories that it's drawing from. So I understand how they could spin it off more, because like Tolkien's Middle Earth, this world of The Witcher comes with a backstory in different lands and countries and stuff like that.
Lore aplenty.
Stranger Things is still East Cupcake, Illinois, or wherever it is, Hawkins, Indiana.
Yeah. With the promise, the next season will now go elsewhere. But yes,
it'll go to Atlantis anyway. So yeah, that's why I think Witcher is easier. But also, yeah, they look at the numbers as far as like they have metrics that they're just starting to share new metrics with us, but they still have analytics and data and charts that we have no idea how they're judging these things internationally. And
look, I still laugh every time they break out that chart with these astronomical numbers of viewerships, and they have that goddamn asterisk saying viewership based on 2 minutes.
You'll get like a show. I'm just pulling this out of my ass. Let's say Bridgerton. 600 million people watch Bridgerton, but the asterisk tells us it's recording anyone who has ever watched 2 minutes of Bridgerton, meaning people, not only people who watch it for 2 minutes and then said, nah, this isn't for me, but for like the autoplay that sometimes happens that you don't even know that your TV is playing Bridgerton because you left the goddamn room to take a shower or to cook a meal or something, and you come back, you're like, wait, Bridgerton's playing.
And Matt's example, like, I believe Bridgerton is a huge hit for them. It's just that, you know, the actual number who is actually watching and finishing these shows is so different.
I don't think it's twice the population of the United States.
Right. As much
as Bridgerton.
I mean, as much as Netflix is a huge worldwide deal, still their numbers are very, very, very questionable as far as what numbers they choose to put out there. Yeah.
All right. Switching to another streaming service. It was the Book of Fett, which is the next
wonder who wrote the Book of Fett.
You busted. Is that how it goes? The rest of that song. The Book of Fett, which is the next Star Wars series, as The Mandalorian takes a little break. We get the Book of Fett before The Mandalorian season 3. And we don't know much about it at this point, except that Ming-Na Wen's in it and Boba Fett, obviously. And he's reading a book. Is it like Blue's Clues? Is it like reading Rainbow?
There's rumors, of course, out there, and there's rumors that inevitably are about like familiar characters who might pop up in it. But officially, nothing.
Is that why Sasha Banks didn't wrestle at SummerSlam for real? Because she was reprising her Mandalorian role.
I mean, even the
giving
poster,
jetpack assisted tornado DDTs to everyone.
The poster they even put out with the date announcement was just him sitting on the throne. So it's like they're not even giving us like new like idea of imagery from this thing, you know?
Yeah, he's sitting in Jabba's throne like Walter White.
Maybe it's just him monologuing, sitting in that throne every week.
It's just him telling us everything that's happened since Empire.
And Ming-Na Wen's listening, be like, wow,
yeah. Well, really? It's actually a lot like the opening of Princess Bride. She's just like,
opening.
He's like, is this a kissing book? He's like, hold on a second.
Is this a kissing book of Boba Fett?
The Shrieking Eels.
My only other observations about the date were just to note that unless Hawkeye has any week where it say doubles up, which is highly doubtful given it's only 6 episodes, and you know, aside from the WandaVision premiere, they don't really tend to do that. It looks like Hawkeye will end the same day Book of Boba Fett begins. So I just keep in the long term, I have this question about Disney Plus as they ramp up more and more Star Wars and Marvel shows. How frequently will they be running? Will they be running simultaneous to each other? I should say live action, because I realized Bad Batch was running at the same time as Loki. Will they run simultaneous? And if so, would they run on the same day, which right now is Wednesdays, which Book of Boba Fett will be on Wednesdays now. And the answer right now seems to be not quite, because it's almost like a passing the torch, right? That 1 week, there'll be one episode.
We're also finding that they don't have any content or thematic problem mixing Marvel and Star Wars. Mixing Marvel and Marvel or Star Wars on Star Wars might be a different issue. But Marvel and Star Wars. But we're coming up after next week, Eric. After next week, after What If wraps up, we're going to have a big chunk of time before Hawkeye shows up. So now we're in this like weird drought.
Well, there is a movie that you will not get excited about before that, before Hawkeye.
No, but that's not for.
Oh, you mean just the Disney Plus show?
I'm saying the Disney Plus shows, and also that still leaves October completely free.
Right. And look, by the way,
like,
it's one of those funny things where they never officially said, "Oh, Miss Marvel's actually not going to make it this year." It's just obviously it's not, because at one point, Miss Marvel and Hawkeye were both supposed to debut by the end of this year.
I thought I saw something more official that it was definitely just coming in 2022.
I mean, again, I haven't seen them officially say that. It's official by its absence, right? And what I was going to say about the scheduling is that I'm guessing that Book of Boba Fett will air for several weeks, and maybe the day its finale airs will be the day Miss Marvel begins. Like, it might keep being this like overlap that 1 week. Just a guess, but we'll see. But you're right that it will be a longer break. I mean, I guess there was a bit of a break because Loki debuted later than it was going to. But now we'll have, especially because Miss Marvel won't be on this year, we'll have this several weeks before Hawkeye comes on after What If ends.
All right. And that's the word from Officer
And we'll
Bird.
have to deal. Oh, and then I kind of circling back to TUDUM, Cobra Kai season 4 will debut December 31st. So it's going to be a busy couple days during the holidays, and an upsetting couple days.
In those in our particular profession.
Yes, will be a rather upsetting couple of days of how to spend your holidays if you are tasked with like intense coverage without access to screeners of certain things.
Well, Netflix is pretty good with screeners, I would say. And
Netflix is good. And
they
I
had
think
a teaser trailer for Karate Kid for Cobra Kai season 3. Yeah,
season 4.
Season 4. Yeah,
and I was talking with people on Twitter today about the fact that Book of Boba Fett is a brand new show. Likely will give a screener for the first episode. They're not going to give the Hawkeye finale out early, so that's where people will most be screwed. I think is trying to cover that sucker in between Christmas and New Year's. Have fun.
But then even the episode right before that is the even worse one because it's the one right before Christmas. So
that's right.
All right. Sorry, Hawkeye. No one's gonna watch you.
No one's
gonna cover you. No one's gonna.
They'll still cover it.
All right. Let's get into some messages from our listeners here. You can reach us at weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us on Patreon, and by Patreon meaning you can go to Patreon and become a Patreon subscriber or Patreon patron. And for a couple dollars a month, you can get a commercial-free version of this podcast. Eric and I are also on Twitter at the Matt Fowler and the Eric Goldman. Now, Sam writes to us on Patreon. I'm going to the store. Do you guys want anything? This was last week, though, so I think it's a little too late for us to get our orders in, Eric. But I guess I would have asked for, I don't know, some Topo Chico, something like that.
I would have asked for some tortilla chips for the salsa I had without tortilla chips, but I got those.
You know what goes really well with tortilla chips? Topo Chico. So yeah, that's good. Topo Chico, though, if you haven't had it, people out there, that's like advanced fizz. It's like AP fizz. Like it's like extremely fizzy. Okay. Tim also wrote in on Patreon, and this is from a few weeks back. Hey guys, just catching up on some older episodes, and you were talking about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leaking just before the actual trailer was released. It wasn't exactly a full leak, Tim. It was like a weird, anyway, those who listen to the podcast know what it was. The skeptic in me thinks that it was deliberately done by the studio in order to generate headlines without actually revealing anything of value. The free media attention builds anticipation of the forthcoming actual release. I could be wrong, but I was interested in your take. Keep up the great work, Shakma. Tim, maybe, but in the end, I don't, there's a gotcha here or there isn't a gotcha here, right? Like in the end, we just got the trailer. And
I'm saying a hard no, only because this is a Spider-Man movie, MCU Spider-Man sequel. It does not need to like play that game. The fact that people were demanding to a very annoying extent this trailer for months means they didn't have to be like, we're going to get you hyped up for this trailer with a fake leak. I just don't think, that they would need to for this particular project.
Yeah, I don't think if we're talking like a giant like Marvel is that they need that. But I'm all for a good conspiracy theory when it comes to Hollywood. So who knows?
Sure.
Okay, and then Nick writes in to us from New Zealand on the old email on the Gmail. Hi, Matt and Eric, longtime listeners since the old channel surfing days. Now you might know Nick Eric from Twitter. Nick Dalek. I don't know. He follows us both. Longtime listeners since the old channel surfing days. So glad you're back to talking TV more broadly again on We Enjoy. I'm an Aussie living in New Zealand and writing you for a somewhat surreal reason. My years of consuming TV led me to pursue work as a writer. And this year I was lucky enough to have a show I co-created and wrote here in New Zealand. It's called Good Grief, about two sisters who inherit a funeral home from their grandfather. In parentheses, it's no catering show, Matt, but I think it's pretty fun. Well, Nick, nothing's catering show, so I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, he continues. The more surreal thing is that it's now been picked up by AMC networks for a second season, with the first airing on Sundance Now /IFC as of September 30th. You could binge the whole first season in 90 minutes. So I guess I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to let you know in hopes that you might spare a moment to check it out. If not, thanks anyway for the years of TV enthusiasm that reinforced and encouraged my similar passions. Keep up the good work. And Shakma, that's Nick. Nick, I will actually do my best to watch this, especially since a huge selling point is that you can watch an entire season in 90 minutes. Whether or not I do have IFC. I don't know about the Sundance Now app, but we'll see how that works out. And of course, I have to get through watching a show I already watched over again. And then resisting a third watch through. But yeah.
Nick, that's awesome. That's so cool. Congratulations on all your success. Thank you for the kind words. And I just Googled your show and see the Deadline article from August 31st about IFC and Sundance Now acquiring it, and I'm like, that's how you know you made it, Deadline. And then I laughed about the other two episodes and his Deadline article that becomes so important and haunts him. So I'm glad this didn't haunt you, because everything went okay with this.
Eric, did you catch up fully on other two? Because
I haven't
wrapped
seen
its second season. Okay,
I have not seen like the last two episodes. I know they're doubling up each week.
Nick, just know that it's a long-time dream that I have had and still have to go to New Zealand, because that's where the hobbits are, on the South Island, I think. But New Zealand, dream destination at some point. It's just, man, that plane ride. Whoo!
No,
that plane ride, what is it, like 20 hours or something ridiculous?
It's not short.
It's ridiculous. It is not short. You're correct. You're busted. Okay. Let's go on to our good things to enjoy. But before we do that, let's mention our main event for next week. Now, Eric and I were toying around with whether we do some one-offs or whether we just go into full franchise mode for basically the rest of the year.
Because of movies that have new installments coming specifically.
And the reason I thought we should just go into full franchise mode is because while we were just on a 4-movie Kurt Russell fest, they were kind of one-offs. I mean, they had a connector. They had an actor in common, the lead actor.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a franchise. We weren't following the same story. Each one was a different movie. So we kind of did 4 one-offs. They had an actor in common. There was a theme, but they're all very different movies. So from now on, we're going to do some franchises starting next week with the Matrix franchise. So next week will be the first Matrix movie, followed by, unfortunately, by the second and third Matrix movies. But
let's see how
they. Yeah, I haven't seen the third since it came out. And
that's what I think too. I think I've never revisited the third.
I have, I believe, watched Reloaded more than once.
I definitely watched Reloaded when it came out at least a couple times. I feel like I saw Reloaded like 3 times in the theater. And I probably watched good chunks of it on cable after, but I think I saw Revolutions 1 time in the theater, and that was it. I have no other memory of seeing that movie.
Good Chunks is my favorite B-52 song.
Good chunks. Give me some of those good chunks.
All right. Good things to enjoy for this week. Eric, what is yours?
And we should say Matrix is on HBO Max, and of course you can purchase or rent it anywhere. anywhere that movies are available. I my good
at Jersey Mike's.
At the local gas station. My good thing to enjoy this week is The Stepfather. I believe from 1987 is the release year of that film. I thought
you
about
brought
it
this up. You brought this up briefly last week during Tombstone Talk
because that's why I decided to recommend it this week, because Terry O'Quinn has a small role in Tombstone as the mayor. And you know, I mentioned how most people would know him from Lost, that is his biggest claim to fame. But of course, he's been a character actor and around for forever. But prior to Lost, the thing that he was most recognizable, like connected to in pop culture, would have been The Stepfather, which is just a really cool, it's a horror movie, but it's a little bit of it's got that horror thriller thing going for it. And it is about a guy who I will never forget. Someone in an article once compared The Stepfather to Clark Griswold, and I thought it was a very funny, good comparison because both are men who want like a Hallmark card idea of like a family. They have this very
and they're both psychotic in their
and they
own
both
way.
will break. Now they'll have these moments where they'll snap ultimately. But for the stepfather, he will murder the family. He marries into a family, like he finds a single woman who already has children from a previous marriage, and he will have a new identity that he will marry this person. And when ultimately things go sour, not for diabolical reasons, just because things go sour in relationships, things aren't living up to his perfect idea, he will murder them, and then he will move to the next town and start over again and change how he looks and change his identity. And it's a really cool movie, and Terry O'Quinn is great in it. It was, kind of a star-making performance for him, who, he was already a working actor prior to this, but this was the first time he was given kind of like a big spotlight in this way. There's some cheesy aspects to it here and there, but I think it really holds up. I saw it a couple times about 3 years ago. It was like 2 different Revival House screenings that happened like few months apart of this Stepfather, and I was very happy how much it held up. There are a couple sequels. He's not in all of them, and it's definitely diminishing returns. But the original movie,
he's in the second one.
Yeah,
not in the third.
But
and he's not. Did he have a cameo in the 2009 remake or no?
I don't think so. Which is again one of those,
because that was like Lost Time. Yeah.
There's again one of those remakes that I forget exist sometimes. But yeah, very cool movie. Great central performance, and does some kind of fun things with story-wise, some great little moments and quotes in it. And yeah, very much holds up. Matt and I were talking about how I'm not 100% committing to this, but I think we'll probably both stick to the horror realm in the lead up to Halloween at this point.
Yeah, we started it last week. I mentioned last week that I was going into spooky season, but Eric recommended last week Midnight Mass, and I recommended Session 9. So we're keeping the theme going through Halloween with horror movies. Turtles all the way down here. Eric, I have not seen The Stepfather. I know, to my shame. It's just not one of the ones I've never seen. And I remember the trailers and the commercials for it. I specifically more so for, I think I was just more aware as a human being in 1989 when part 2 came out. But I've seen clips from it, but I haven't seen it. I had stepfathers, Eric. I didn't need to see the movie. I know. Yeah, I know. But
I need to see how the other half was.
You still have a stepmother. My stepfather, actually, they weren't official because my mom never got remarried, but she had 2 longtime boyfriends, and one kind of looked like Terry O'Quinn a little bit. So Jay, remember Jay? So
I remember Jay. We watched Halloween at Jay's house. That was my first time watching Halloween.
She had 2 longtime boyfriends after my parents split, and one was Jay, and the other was Eric. Ron Randell, Australian film star Ron Randell, who is actually in King of Kings and Kiss Me Kate and other things. So he's got a wiki page where you will not see his my mom's name because he never was unmarried. So while they were seeing each other in New York for years, he was married. His wife lived in California. They were longtime Hollywood couple, just separated.
Sure.
Not really separated. Maybe. Who knows? But Ron was also in some 50s and 60s B movies, including one that I always loved, the title of Umu Umu the Shark God.
That's a great title.
And it's a great poster too. Okay, that's enough.
At some point I think we should do the Stepfather on this podcast.
I thought you would say at some point we should do King of Kings. Okay.
And that. At some point I do think we should. I was thinking we should do it, but we're not anytime soon because we have other things to do. But in the meantime, you should watch it. And it was one of those fun. It's funny when I look up where these movies are streaming, and oftentimes it's like, they're not on a streaming service, but we're like, well, you can rent or buy it. But in this case, the Stepfather is on a shitload of things right now. None of like the ones that I think everyone has, but you got options here: AMC Plus, Shudder, Canopy, and then if you're down with if you're okay with watching ads, it's on Vudu and the Roku channel.
Oh man, I have no fucking excuse to watch The Stepfather. It's literally on every service. Okay.
Right. But you can also wait till we do it one day on the podcast. Up to you. But for our listeners, if you want to watch it during spooky season, there you go.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so my recommendation is sort of piggybacking off of Eric's last week, which is a Mike Flanagan joint. Excuse me while I die. And also, like my recommendation last week, session 9, I'm pretty sure we either talked about it or I recommended it on We Enjoy Wrestling during our horror movie franchise recaps or Halloween season or something during the few years that we did that podcast. But officially now, for We Enjoy, as part of the Good Things to Enjoy segment, I'm recommending 2016's Hush, which is directed and edited by Mike Flanagan and co-written by Mike Flanagan with his then girlfriend, future wife, Kate Siegel, who would go on to be in all of his stuff anyway. And she was just in Midnight Mass playing Erin. And it is a really great, just horror thriller, single location, bare bones, small cast. Really, it's just two people most of the movie, or one person most of the movie, as Kate Siegel basically plays a deaf author who is sort of terrorized in her house by a stranger-like stranger. When I say stranger-like stranger, I mean like from The Strangers. It's kind of like a masked psycho who targets random people in rustic, rural, remote areas. And there's no real explanation behind it, but it's not just the terror of you're in a house alone, you're being stalked by someone, but also you can't hear on top of that. And so she can't hear and she can't speak. So those sort of restrictions heighten the tension and the intensity and the terror. And I think it's really great. And I think it was at this point, I can't remember if the Flanagan officially sort of started, because Kate Siegel was in Oculus, which was like Flanagan's first movie, like official movie. But none of the other Flanagans were in it. So he's built them up.
Although Karen Gillan was with him at Halloween Horror Nights recently, so she stayed friendly.
She just hasn't been in anything else.
Right. Yeah. Inevitably, she will come back in one of his projects, I feel, though, when she's not busy nebuling.
I wish she had done something instead of Gunpowder Milkshake. Right. I mean, if we're talking Netflix here. So, but I think the beginnings of the Flanagan started with Ouija Origins of Evil, because that was the first one that had
Henry Thomas.
But this one had two faces that would pop up in Midnight Mass, which are Michael Trucco from BSG and Samantha Sloyan. Who
My pal, Samantha Sloyan.
So, and then John Gallagher Jr., if you watch The Newsroom, in a very different role. So this movie is just great. It is well made. It is well crafted. I like the fact that basically Kate Siegel, as the lead of this movie, super collaborated on it as the co-writer, and that presumably brought them even closer together, because then they would get married after this. So I recommend it. It is on Netflix, as I think most of Flanagan's things are. Not everything, but most of them from Hush on are on Netflix, I believe.
Is Ouija Origin of Evil? Because he didn't make it. Was that and Dr. Sleep. Those might be on HBO Max, since they were made for theaters. This is the second week in a row, Matt, that I'm like, I am going to watch the movie you're recommending this Halloween season. Well,
that's why we're doing this. These are for our listeners to add to their sort of Halloween marathon lists,
right? Because it's funny, because I love Flanagan, but I've got 3 gaps in my my Flanagan viewing, and Hush is one of them, and the other 2 are Absentia, which is the smaller movie he made before Oculus.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. Yeah,
and Before I Wake, which is another Netflix one. So those are the ones.
Before I Wake is a weird one because it sat on a shelf for like 3 years. But yeah,
so those are the 3 I need to see. And Hush was already my priority, really because of Sam. Because again, like I'm so like, oh my, delighted that she has this like kind of, I don't want to call it a breakout role necessarily. I know she already did the Shonda Rhimes stuff, but she's getting so much attention, rightfully so, for Midnight Mass and being so amazingly hateable. She's a very sweet person.
So I don't know I can't remember who he wrote it for. If I could check my Twitter likes really fast, because I did like the article. Mike Flanagan wrote a very long piece sort of thanking everyone who recently
Bloody Disgusting
appreciated Midnight Mass. Yes, it was Bloody Disgusting.
Yeah.
But he also talked about how this has been a long time dream of him, Midnight Mass. It's a story he's been working on for over a decade.
Yep.
He has pitched it before as a TV series. He pitched it to Netflix and it was turned down. So that he, at a certain point when he was making other movies, never ever thinking that Midnight Mass would get made, he put Midnight Mass into his films in certain Easter egg ways. And one of the biggest way he ever put it into a movie was in Hush, because she is an author and she is literally writing she has written or is writing Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
And so if you look at her computer screen and you read what she writes, it is a scene from Midnight Mass, and characters from that book and that TV show that just came out are brought up. So it's really interesting to see.
I've seen the still of Sam Sloyan holding Midnight Mass as a book.
She's literally telling Kate Siegel's character how much she enjoyed Midnight Mass, and
she loved Bev Keane. She thought she was my
favorite character. Yeah, like I really just wish I just wanted to punch her in the face so hard.
Get her.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? It just really spoke to me. I'm sorry, you can't speak. Okay, that's not from the movie. Let's see. So that's my recommendation. It's on TUDUM. I mean Netflix. Okay. Let's get into You Busted Breakdown, directed by Jonathan Mostow from 1997, which I do not want to bury the lead in this case, Eric. The friends of the podcast, I want to call them at this point, Kathleen Quinlan and Jack Noseworthy. Event Horizon.
This was the same
stars,
summer, same studio.
Same summer, same studio. Same power.
Well, we talked about this when we did Event Horizon and how Event Horizon got rushed because of Titanic being delayed, which is such a funny thing. So it was already this weird thing that these 2 actors were doing 2 movies for the same studio that were always going to open the same year. But then they opened the same summer because Paramount said we need Event Horizon earlier because Titanic's not going to make summer. So it became the summer of Quinlan and Noseworthy.
Quinlan and Noseworthy. My favorite loss.
I wish they did more. I mean, since I love those movies so much, they should have kept those movies. Paramount. Well, you just keep putting them more stuff.
I was going to go on the Wikipedia page. For all I know, they've been married since 1996. I have no idea. And they only do movies together. Speaking of only doing movies together, JT Walsh, excellent, just bona fide villain in this movie, and also really well-known character actor for those of us who grew up watching movies in the 80s and 90s. Tragically, he passed away at a way too young in 1998, but
only a few months after this movie opened. Yeah,
he was very man. So the thing is, like, he's just one of those actors. I'm not saying like, in fact, like you look at Kathleen Quinlan, she has a huge long career, like, because she acted as a kid too, like Kurt Russell. JT Walsh was, for somebody as recognizable and who has sort of like presented themselves and landed in our psyche the way he has, he wasn't in that much because he died early. But man, the big picture, Good Morning Vietnam, Needful Things, like he's such a memorable face and like presence in films that he stands out even when he has a small supporting role in things.
It's funny. I'd slightly argue with you, but I guess in a complimentary way, which is he was this presence that was like in a lot of these great movies. But when Breakdown came out, I can only speak for myself. When I saw the trailer, I didn't recognize him, or I didn't be like, that's JT Walsh, because he was a true character actor in the sense of he had not become like a star in any way.
No. He was a character actor. I'm not saying he was a leading man. I'm saying like
I'm just saying I couldn't name him. Like when Breakdown came out, it stuck out to me, and it's something I did ask Mostow about, especially casting him in this, because this is the era in the mid '90s of where you get Dennis Hopper or Tommy Lee Jones or Walken. You get these great but super showy people who, at the time, Tommy Lee Jones kind of became more of a leading man, but were mostly like supporting characters. But they could just kill it as these like great showy villains. So JT Walsh was interesting because he was not on the celebrity level those guys were.
Here's an interesting thing. You're making me leap way forward into a point I wanted to make later on during Breakdown Chat, which is there's a big part of me that wishes I could have gone into this movie totally blind.
Yes.
Which is I didn't. I saw the trailer multiple times. I know what happens. I know who took his wife. I know what's going down. I know the moment he finds out. I know some of the things he says to the villains, so nothing was a huge surprise. I still love the movie, but to go into this movie blind, which I am hoping some of our listeners might do.
Yeah. And full spoilers for Breakdown.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they know that.
Yes,
they know how. Man, you're busted. So I think there's an element here. I don't know if you can ever expect audiences and movie audiences to go into a movie blind unless it's a screen. And, it's a screening audience.
Yeah,
but it feels like it was made to play to somebody who didn't know what was going to happen, because JT Walsh arrives on the scene as a friendly truck driver, and so you're not supposed to think anything bad is going to happen there. Dennis Hopper shows up. If you don't know anything about the movie, something fucking crazy is about to happen.
No, exactly. Or this makes me laugh because I'm almost sure I must have told you this before about our friend Carrie Canning being concerned when she saw Batman Begins because she didn't know Gary Oldman was playing Commissioner Gordon. So she's like, who's this menacing cop who's talking to young Bruce Wayne right after?
You mean the kindly cop, the only decent cop in all of Gotham,
right?
Young boy,
but his baggage,
his coat
made her like suspect. Oh no,
oh no, it's Drexel from True Romance. Yeah, no. But so that's the thing. If it was a known face, you would have known immediately where his wife went and what happened. But so, by the way, The Big Picture is a great film. I remember that. JT Walsh, great villain. His third Kurt Russell movie at this point, by the way.
Fourth, I believe.
Fourth. What was his
Tequila
fourth?
Sunrise, Backdraft.
Backdraft, that's what I forgot.
Executive Decision, which we saw together.
I forgot Backdraft, yeah.
And then this, yeah.
So maybe it was like, you interviewed Mostow. Was it like Kurt Russell saying, "Get me JT Walsh," or like what?
This is the story, actually, which is it was Mostow brought him in on an audition. Again, JT Walsh would not have like the power to just be cast, but he came in for an audition, and Mostow said he didn't know who he was, but he just loved him and was like, that's the guy. And the next day he was having a conversation with Russell. Russell said, I know who should play the truck driver. And Mostow said, well, I just talked to a guy and I think he should play it. And it became that, like, you say the name, and it turned out they were talking about the same person.
Wow.
Yes. So the kismet of the universe, and the fact that Russell already knew him and loved him, and then Mostow did not know him and just met him, but they both came from separate directions that JT Walsh should play this character.
That's fucking incredible. The movie also has Kathleen Quinlan, sort of like she'd been acting for 20 years before she got an Academy Award nomination for playing the wife on the phone in Apollo 13.
Yep.
And she was nominated for something else too, I think. But she was the wife in the 90s, back before we would get actual, more layered and complex female characters. A lot of women were the girl on the phone. Like, come back,
or the supportive wife, or the I'm so worried about you wife. Yeah.
So, and then who else was in this? MC Gainey is in this movie, and
great character actor himself, usually playing the heavy, and he works
also on Lost,
on Lost. That's right, and he works great in this movie. Has a fake out for both, not a fake out because he is part of the whole thing.
Fake out, you busted.
He is a great distraction for both Russell and, to your point, Matt, if people hadn't seen the trailers, to the audience, because, again, this is something I talked to Master about. The difficulty in a movie like this is making it so the audience doesn't think that the main character is just an absolute idiot who did everything wrong that he should. Well, he's going to have to do some things wrong for the movie to happen, but that he was an idiot who should have seen everything coming. And so the opening of this movie, he has to sell that him letting his wife go in that truck without him. And the way they do that, which I think is very well done. Again, it's a movie, guys. You have to go with something, but is that MC Gainey being MC Threatening Gainey, a guy who's already menaced him and who he has legitimate reason to think, if I leave my Jeep here, this guy's going to fuck up or steal my Jeep.
Right.
That when kindly JT Walsh, again, to your point, Matt, who does not come with a preconceived notion by the audience to fear him, comes by, that he would, and again, they also sell the fact that JT Walsh is like, you should come too, that it all seems on the up.
Yeah, if Tommy Lee Jones got out of that truck, I would start shooting. Like,
yes, even if I didn't have a gun. Somehow.
Yeah, I was like, pew, pew, pew. It was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're a terrible interview. So this, okay. And then I should say, we already mentioned Jack Noseworthy, but Rex Lynn is the sheriff here. He's been in a ton of things. He was in the other Wyatt Earp movie, Wyatt Earp. And then after a couple decades of doing a lot of movies and television, he landed the sweetest gig in Hollywood, which is to be on a CSI show. And he was on like almost 200 episodes of CSI Miami. Okay.
And the other recognizable, hey, it's that guy, is Jack McGee, who plays the diner owner.
Yeah.
Who's in a million things. He was on Rescue Me, but he's, guy who pops a million things. He had also been in Backdraft. And again, Kurt Russell being lovable Kurt Russell on the commentary. He's like, Jack, he's great actor, great guy. And you're just like, Kurt.
You probably want to hang out with Jack McGee too, Eric.
That's right.
Okay. The movie opens with this couple, and they're driving cross country from Massachusetts to California. And we don't know for a few minutes, but they're starting their lives over. So we don't know much about them until they have a deeper conversation a few minutes into the movie, except that like the villains in the movie, we're meant to sort of mislabel them. So they're targeted because they stand out. They're targeted because they seem rich and they seem like they're stuck up. Well, they are kind of stuck up. Well, at least he is. He calls junk food like gourmet cuisine there. He's being a bit of a shit. Mm-hmm. Like, it was his fault that he almost hit this truck because he was trying to get a thermos or something. He didn't really apologize for it. So he's not being his best self. Like, he's not being...
He's like a douchey guy from the city.
Yeah, he's kind of a douchey guy. He's not the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as we would come to find out, he super loves his wife. Like,
yes, he does.
like he goes full action hero for her, and it's nothing that you can generally sense until she's gone. But everything changes once she sort of vanishes. But yeah, so he's targeted for the same basically the first impression we get of them is the first impression the villains get. Yeah. And it isn't until a conversation a few minutes in where they're like talking about how like they have financial issues, the car isn't paid off, their new, Jeep Cherokee, and that they are relocating their entire life for 2 new jobs. We don't know any more specifics than that, really. But we know that they don't have $90,000. We know that right. they are not the people to target for ransom. And so that makes it even more interesting when they are, because there's no way that he's ever going to get his wife back unless he saves her himself. Mm-hmm. I did like the MC Gainey talking about telling Kurt Russell that what he needs out there is a CB radio, and it's like, you're telling Jack Burton he needs a CB radio, and I'm like, that's silly. Okay,
here's where I'll do one aside. Obviously, we can talk about more later from all I've learned from the commentary and talking to Mostow in the recent weeks, which is the opening of this movie, Matt. It was very interesting to discover from this Blu-ray and from my interview is that the movie has written, which Mostow wrote, is the movie we're watching, but he was forced to film. Someone else wrote, and he was forced to film an entire 10-minute opening, which is on the Blu-ray. that he never wanted to film, was forced to do it, and then thankfully he asked them to test screen both versions with and without it, and everyone agreed it was better without it, so he got to cut it, which was all this stuff before they get on the road, because there was the argument that like we have to explain their lives. We can't just begin with them on the road, that we have to have this prior knowledge and investment in them.
No, but then we don't get fooled like the villains are.
No, and watching it, I watched it out of, obviously out of curiosity as a fan of this movie, and I was like, oh, this is so not this movie. Doesn't fit at all. It's so extraneous. We don't need any of this info, and it's also very like kind of like it makes some things more trite that are not trite in the movie, because Matt, one of the things is that we learn he is a cameraman specifically, and that he's usually a sports cameraman, but he got pulled to some Corto Maltese. He got pulled to some war-torn country and
then Joker's like crep,
and watched a little girl get killed by a sniper, and he yelled for her at the last minute to duck, but it was too late. But it obviously was this other people saying it will establish that he didn't rise to the cause when he could have, and now he will later. And it's just, no, you don't need that. Like, you don't need.
Yeah, that's awful. And the way that it works now, as the movie as is, it's all in this one location.
Yeah.
It's funny that the people who wanted that opening didn't want anything extra at the end of the movie. Like, it could just end on the bridge like that with no follow-up with authorities or trauma or like their new jobs or what happened, like nothing.
No, because like you said, it's one, like, that's what makes it, one of the things that makes it great is that it's just telling a few hours basically, right? Just like this, events that happen.
Yeah.
Over
like
the course of a day or so.
It goes overnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after he's targeted and, MC Gainey's Earl sort of probably lets it known that there's this douchebag out there, almost hit me. He's got a wife. He probably has money, talking about his fancy car. That's when the team rolls in, led by JT Walsh, and they do the old bait and switch, which is, and the whole thing was MC Gainey is the fake out villain for the audience, but he's the fake out villain for them too.
Right.
And so it allows JT Walsh to pull up as a stranger who they trust, even if they don't trust him 100%, they trust him way more than they do the two guys in the truck that are targeting them.
Yeah.
So we would find out at the end of the movie that the plan was for JT Walsh to get Kurt Russell also into the truck, so that they could just take them together somehow. And I don't know what they would do, but at this point, Kathleen Quinlan as Amy just rides off with him. And then it also, and this goes into the whole, what would I think if I actually went into this movie blind? What would I think is happening, Eric? Like, do I think he's crazy? Do I think something's like, it's a huge mystery. I don't know that I would necessarily know how to solve it, even when he and I'm assuming this wasn't planned by the villains at all, when Kurt Russell pulls him over and he fakes not knowing him.
Right.
Because that whole scene is a lot of happenstance. I get it. And I get, that movies, they operate on this. And if there wasn't something, there would be nothing. So him faking not knowing who his wife was, at the same time, the cop comes over and he does the charade for the cop too and can't prove anything. And at this point, we don't know who's in on it, because I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I had to think in my head, were the police in on it? Like, is this all an act? Like, is it all just for show? Are they running a game on him? And when I say a game on him, I mean like from the movie The Game.
Right.
Like, it's all just sort of like everybody.
That's funny you mentioned that, because guess what? Jonathan Mostow and
he's an executive producer. Yeah.
Jonathan Mostow almost directed The Game, and he talked to Kurt Russell about it when he was going to direct it.
Yeah, but there's an element of that, of the paranoia here, because he looks at the faces of the people in the bar, the diner, and it's like, are they all in on it? And then later in the bank, he's like, is this guy sitting here watching me? Is he part of their team?
Right.
So yeah, I think there is an element of the game in here, as far as like the false reality that they build up around him, and the paranoia of like, who can he trust? That is it Noseworthy who tells him the cops are in on it?
Yes, and at the same time, it's a great moment because Noseworthy, acting his like a simple local is not only talking about them being in on it, but Jack McGee comes out to watch what he thinks is a paranoid guy who was just in his place, but to Kurt Russell's Jeff, looks like he might be in on it too. Like Jack McGee standing watching him from the front of his diner adds to his like they're all in on it. That I can't trust anyone in this small little town.
All right. So as we mentioned last week, Kurt Russell is an everyman here. He's not Wyatt Earp. He is not Jack Burton. He's not even the computer genius from the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. So there's a lot of satisfying moments in this film because there's a lot of it where it's like you're watching him find things or go places or like, what do I do? Like picking things up and putting them down because he's like, that won't work. Some of it's like playing a video game, actually, sort of like walking around like, can I use this?
Right.
And so, but when he does formulate plans, it like the tone of the movie, Kurt Russell's performance all helps sell this as a journey you want to go on with him because you're invested now. You're like, what would I do? Like, this is an everyman. I'm an every person. What would I do in this situation? Could I do what he's doing? And as the movie escalates, you get to the point where, and I'm going to jump ahead and get to a part that I know is a huge favorite of both of us, which is like when he finally gets the drop on MC Gainey and MC Gainey's like, fuck you. And he's like, no, fuck you. And he hits him. Is that a clever line? No, but it's so immensely gratifying because that's what we would do. Like we would scream "fuck you" back at him and hit him in the face. Like it's such a great moment because it feels very natural inside this artifice of this movie and this story and this 3-act structure. That feels like a very real moment for this character and this everyman to do.
And I remember opening weekend, a huge applause moment from the audience, which is really saying something when you're not. Breakdown, it had a decent promotion, but it wasn't being pushed like a franchise movie or anything. So for the audience, a very organic applause to happen, and it wasn't the only moment that would happen after that. But that's like the big, breaking, no pun intended, point of the movie when that happens. It's a big release for the audience, and Russell talks about this on the commentary that what really stuck out to him about this movie, especially I think for him having played like traditional heroes and also guys who have to deal with like, thinking on their feet, is that this movie prolongs him turning the tables a lot longer than most movies do. That for basically a full hour, nothing worked. Like he is there, he has to do what they're saying. He's trying things at the bank and whatnot, but nothing's really working for him. And they're very clever, and JT Walsh's character is very clever. So it takes like a full hour for him to finally have that moment with MC Gainey. But it works great. It's not like, it's not a detriment to the movie. It's how the movie kind of sells. He is stuck in this situation. And finally, he's able to do something with one of these guys. So
he finally gets the come to Jesus with JT Walsh's Red Bar, which is his name. Red, I assume, is a nickname. That so this is, how do I put this? It's both the thing that saved his wife's life, but also the thing that will get them both killed, which is that she figured out a way to stall, right? She figured out this secret little code that if it could get to him, I have $90,000. He's a donut king. It's based on something they talked about in the car.
Right.
He's able to pick up on it. And her lying, she's fully lying off screen to these guys, saved her life in that moment. No, he can get this money. And then she just has to pray to God that her husband comes through somehow. Knowing that they don't have the money, all she did was just buy time, a few extra hours, really, because she was going to die. And she's setting her husband up in an impossible situation too.
Right.
I've prolonged my life, but how is he going to get out of this one? Because they're going to make him try to get this money. And so there's all these different knobs turning here that are just, everything is impossible. He's told that he can save his wife by getting money that he doesn't have, but he can't tell them he doesn't have it.
Right.
He can't say I'm broke because that'll get her killed.
That's crazy. I don't got that money.
He has to pretend like he has it, and then he has to somehow, once he's away from their prying eyes, then figure out what to do, which is why the bank scene is so great. because what does he do? Does he tries to tell the bank manager guy helping him, but then some of it sounds like the bank manager might take it to sound like he's being robbed, like I need to tell you something, I need this money or something. But then the guy comes in and he goes into the bathroom, he's like, can I use a toilet plunger and plunge them? Like, what can I do?
Right.
And he does the after stealing a letter opener and some money wrappers, he does the only thing he can do, which is try to pull a fast one on him. And the the letter opener is the thing that's going to save him, because he's duct tape and he gets the drop on MC Ganny in the car, stabs him. Great scene. Just sort of the reckoning there, like stabbing him, duct taping him, choking him by hitting the brakes, like then the cops showing up again, ruining everything once again. Right. I mean, I hope that cop survived. It seemed like he was going to.
Yes. By the way, I'm flashing way back for a second, but because I don't want to forget by the end that a great moment in this movie, little moment. I've mentioned before, I love this movie, and I'm very happy to see that it still holds up, which a couple of years ago was the first time I rewatched it in many years. But when it came out, it was one of those movies that just grabbed me, and I saw it several times the summer it came out. But is that scene, the scene where he flags down Red in the truck, and Red's like, I don't know what you're talking about, I know your wife. I just want to mention a great Kurt Russell moment, which is just that moment when he's just like, what are you doing? Like, because at first he thinks the guy's like misunderstanding him or something, because he can't fathom what, this guy would just not tell him, I dropped your wife off here. But yeah, I just love Russell's delivery on the, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's another game moment, right? Like,
yeah.
What is this sort of like this play that you're putting on? I'm assuming that's before she told him about the money, or else he would have probably addressed him right there.
Right.
Or maybe he just needed his goons around him. Also, we get until the end of the movie, till the third act, the only indication of what's going on fully is like when he does go to the deputy and see all the missing persons posters all over. Like, and this is sort of like like this weird Bermuda Triangle for Kathleen Quinlan's, like all over the country. Like, this is a place where people go missing. It's also funny that like two people in this movie tell him that his wife ran off, like that, because they kept saying that, because it's repeated, that they're almost trying to convince him, like almost this gentle gaslighting in a way. That's more game stuff. That they're trying to sell him on a story of that his wife left him.
So another thing about the genesis of this movie is that first of all, the
very funny Mostow's wife left him while on a road trip.
This movie exists because Mostow was very far into development with a Stephen King adaptation. He doesn't say what it was of, and Stephen King, of course, has 10 million stories, and I didn't recognize that would have been in the desert involving like trucks and cars. And he was and Dino De Laurentiis, who produced this, was supposed to produce it when they found Desperation.
Maybe. When did that come out? When did Desperation?
I don't know. But oddly, interestingly enough, they basically found out they didn't have the rights, so that like it fell through because of the title and the rights and not being able to put King's name on it. And Mostow was basically tasked with, maybe by himself, maybe by De Laurentiis, I can't quite remember. Is there something else you can do in the desert with trucks? Like, we've already scouted locations, and he came up with this idea, and he wrote the script very quickly in like 3 weeks. But he said one of the inspirations was having learned, I can't remember if it was during research for that movie or just having something he heard on the news about how it's very difficult if someone in your life goes missing and they're above 18, they're not considered a minor, you will not get an immediate response. You have that wait time. And one of the reasons being, besides the fact that it's like they're not technically considered missing, can't remember, is it 24 hours, 48 hours? But one thing that comes up with that a lot is that often it's because statistically, like a lot, not all, of course, but a lot of people go missing. It's because they chose to go missing. They chose to take off.
And this was obviously some sort of a news item that would have been very informative and interesting pre-cell phone.
Yes, a huge part.
As the internet and cell phones are this both a blessing and a curse in real life and in cinema. So they open doors, but they also close doors. And so the stories that could be told pre everyone having an iPhone are very different. And so,
Right,
yeah,
right.
if she would leave with Red in his truck, if she had a phone, it would have been a little, different story. Like you could track somebody. Okay. Then that MC Gainey, the Earl getting killed by the cop and Kurt Russell getting away really starts the turning the table storyline as far as like Kurt Russell tracking down Red's truck, getting into it. At first I was like, why doesn't he just hang out on the bottom of the truck? Why has he got to climb on top? And then that's when you realize how long he's driving. Like he drives all night. And I was like, okay, maybe he couldn't have hung on like Spider-Man the entire time, and he probably should have had some place to rest. But then we get into the full operation. So then Jack Noseworthy's character, Billy, I think Al is the other character, the bearded guy who was with MC Gainey's Earl. Al and Billy are there, and like they go in the barn. Now, I want your take on this. This has no real importance to the story overall, but do you think Red's wife knows? Like,
no,
deep down, do you think it's a full surprise? Because if so, she obviously never goes in that barn. Because there's luggage and jewelry and stereos all over the place.
Right. Okay, that's a good question because, and again, I love this about the movie that they don't over-explain. In my thinking, she does not know any specifics, but what you're saying is probably credible too. That she has willfully put a blind eye to the weirdness going around.
If anything, she knows he's doing something.
Yes,
like he's robbing people. Maybe there's a reason why.
I think she's legitimately shocked to find Kathleen Quinlan is locked in.
Right. Because that's like probably the worst case scenario of what you can think of is like he's an actual murderer of women out on the road. Because it's like there has to be something like even he's away for. I'm just saying he's away for long periods of time, and she never goes in there and sees all the license plates. Right. So I feel like she does know something is up. That doesn't make that scene any less effective. Like Kurt Russell, first of all, his performance in the brief moment when he thinks his wife is dead, like when they're pulling her out from the truck cabin and they're saying she must have suffocated or the exhaust suffocated her, and he's just shaking with. And it's like this combination of absolute rage and sadness. Mm-hmm. Like he's so good in that moment, and because he doesn't know what to do, and he's so angry, and he just wants to kill them all. But just basically the moment when he finds the gun, because he's going around, he's got like a hammer, he's got a crowbar, he can't get to his wife who's under the barn. He's found a baseball bat. When he finally finds that gun in the glove box, and he fucking walks in on that family eating breakfast. It is so amazing. Like it is just a great moment. Like because of the wife being there and like him saying, you have my wife in the freezer below your barn, get her the fuck out. Like, and seeing the wife's reaction to that. But then, and Red's like, he's crazy. Don't listen to him. What does she think? Whose side is she on? I feel like she is turning a blind eye because when Deke comes in, his son, and puts a gun on Jeff, Kurt Russell's character, she's also saying pull the trigger.
Oh yeah, like I think, but even without, I think if you do a deep dive on it, as we are, it makes sense that she have to suspect something. But I think, irregardless of that, I forget, is it Ergo? It's regardless.
No, it's regardless. But that's
regardless of that. It's a great moment. It's just a tiny little thing with a character who's not in the movie very much, of her making a split-second decision. My family or this guy, I don't know. Because even if it turns out I am married to a monster, he's my monster, and this guy is going to destroy everything. So I am going to tell my son, kill this man who has just kind of come in and blown her whole world up, in this second. And so I love that. Like, I love that little
scene
thing.
When he just goes into the kitchen is amazing. And then also after Deke fucks up, shoots Al in the shoulder, all that goes down, and Kurt Russell still has the gun on him and he makes them all go to the barn. I love that because the wife has to do it. He makes the wife get his wife out. Like she has to come face to face with it. And JT Walsh through this whole thing is so cold and amazing because he at that moment realizes he's done.
Mhm.
I'm done. I am done. I'm either going to be killed or arrested. My wife knows my entire world has just collapsed. And all I want to do is kill Jeff.
Yes.
Like, all I want to do is fucking kill you. Like, I don't, because at that point, he's just like, just open the freezer, turn on the light, open the freezer, telling his wife, he's like, there's nothing he can do, no lie he can tell. You know what I mean? Like, he's
Right.
completely cornered, no options. And just the way he stares at Jeff is incredible. Love it.
It's great. It's great. Taking, because it's funny. What's ultimately happening here is like this kind of like, I say modern day for a movie that is now 24 years old, but it's basically like an updated like Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, right? Of like these people that like just take people traveling through the middle of nowhere that will not be missed in this scenario and get rid of them for their own purposes, but does it in such a different, interesting way with both who Red is as a character, J.D. Walsh's performance, and then this little micro look at that he has a wife and a kid. And like you said, like seeing kind of what is happening to him in this, without it being about, it's not Red's story, but I love this little like glimpse into everything that he.
And created. It is, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a good way to go because these guys are stone cold killers. They have no remorse. They have no empathy, and they have no remorse. They've killed before. They mentioned like a couple in Ohio. And it's not just Red, it's Billy and Al and Earl. It's all of them. So it's like the fact that they have that this wife is dead inside this sack, this wrap, and like they don't care. They just laugh like, hey, they solved it for her. She suffocated. Makes our job easier. Like they are just soulless. And so so that fits that analogy too, because there's just there's no humanity within them.
Right. They're not looking at these people as other people.
And Red cares about family, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
Then we get into a really cool sequence of action, the truck crashing through a trailer, car chase. I feel like the movie earns this. It's a little action movie-y, you know what I mean? Like for the way this movie has sort of been. I mean, there's been action. His Jeep's gone down the river. He's been shot at. There's been moments. But it's a little more heightened here, but I still feel like the movie earns it. And
I do too.
That you still believe that Kurt Russell, driving all fast and furious, is able to do the things he's doing and is, ramming cars and doing his best to avoid stuff. Still never letting his wife drive. By the way, that was one of the little douchey things he was doing at the beginning of the movie, was never letting her drive. But then that leads to the bridge and she's stuck and the truck's hanging off and there's a big fight with Red. And we get the real only defining moment of agency for Kathleen Quinlan's Amy, which is she gets to drop the truck on Red, which is great. So
and guess who we have to thank for that?
Kurt Russell.
Yep. It was scripted that he does that.
And that needs to be her moment. She's the one.
And Mostow gives him full credit, says, you said to me, she should be the one to do this. And you were totally right. Because he talks about the fact that it was funny when he went to Kathleen Quinlan and fresh off her Oscar nomination, offering her this because she's not in the movie much. But of course he wanted, a strong actress to establish this character who will then be important by her absence. And he actually said he resisted. And I agree with this. Producers saying, should we cut to her a few times to kind of show her plight? And that he thought, and I think this is right, that it's stronger if you never see her until the end, because you, like Jeff, just don't know. Have they already killed her?
We need to be in the dark completely. Yeah, obviously. Yes.
But all that being said, it was a great note from Mr. Kurt Russell to have her do that, because it feels so right just after, because we know enough to know the hell she's gone through to give her that.
Well, and also because she kills him and squishes him with the truck. She's fine now.
right.
No residual trauma, nothing to sort through, no waking nightmares, nothing. Like she's good. She's good. And her leg's fine. And again, no follow-up. We leave them on the bridge. It's still fun because it does contain the movie, like you said, to this one location, this one area that, if we cut to them in San Diego, it would have felt a little weird. I'm not asking for an Animal House style ending either, where it's like
No,
it tells us where all the characters wound up afterwards.
It's funny because this is something that comes up a lot about much older movies than Breakdown. I'm talking about movies from like the 70s and 60s would do the kind of like, we're done. Like, we told the story, we're done. And by the 1997 movies typically would not do that. There would be an epilogue scene or two. But for this movie, it feels appropriate, right? Like, again, it begins on the road, it ends on the road.
Well,
they were able to cut that prologue he didn't even want to have in the anyway.
We didn't do any franchise recap of Karate Kid movies, but it was always funny to me how the final fight and the win, like his hand was raised, yeah, and the credits would raise, like it all ended with the fight,
right? Which and most of the Rockies do as well. Yeah. It's just like we're done,
Yeah, bye. See you next time. And no credits if it's an old enough movie. No credits either. Get out. Right. Okay. Breakdown. Great movie. Ending on a high here with the movie that I think of the ones we've done. Well, obviously aside from his Disney movie, but like of the last two at least, might be one that our listeners weren't as fully aware of. It wasn't a huge box office smash.
It was a hit, but it wasn't like a blockbuster.
Yeah, I think, it wasn't. I don't remember it being a hit. I remember it wasn't a failure, but I don't remember it being.
I mean, it opened at number one. Like, again, it was a smaller movie, so it didn't have to be like a giant blockbuster.
Well, it opened at number one because of Kathleen Quinlan and Jack Noseworthy.
That's right.
They're like together again.
Noseworthy had a good run there in the 90s. Brady Bunch movie. He's in all my favorite movies. Get Noseworthy. What was he going to say? A mix of fun facts from the commentary, but also just I just wanted to mention the score by Basil Polidoris, who did RoboCop. So we've already talked about one of the movie he scored. Great score. I love the score. I love the percussion driven the opening credits over the road. It's really cool. Different vibe than most scores of this type. And then the making of stuff, which we covered most of. It was funny that Russell talks about how he was right off of Escape from LA. Like, he filmed like them almost back to back, just a few weeks between. And that the funny thing about that is he was in very good shape from having just played Snake Plissken again. And everyone is like, we have to make sure he doesn't look like he's in very good shape playing Jeff and to dress him in a way.
He still looks like in good shape, but yeah, he's always wearing like
but like they managed to sell it more as like a guy who goes to the gym because that's part of his lifestyle.
And then half the movie he's wearing the breakdown jacket. They give him a breakdown jacket.
They do. And Russell doesn't mention this, but looking at his IMDb, I'm like, oh yeah. And he went from this to Soldier, where he got even better shape. So it was funny that, as we talked about, again, one of the things we love about Kurt Russell, that he can play in between. He did this movie in the middle of playing two like buff badass guys. But here he is cast as a very different role, and that a role that many of his contemporaries who are action stars like your Stallones and your Schwarzeneggers really can't pull off in the same way. Do
you think Kathleen Quinlan and Jack Noseworthy took Kurt Russell aside during the filming of Breakdown and said, hey, you know what director you need to get in with? Paul Anderson. And that's why he did Soldier. That's why he did Soldier.
Certainly, it's possible. I forgot about that. That's funny. It's certainly, that's right, because Soldier, he did Event Horizon because Soldier, he had to wait for Russell to get even better shape for. That's funny. It all ties together. And the other thing that was funny that because Russell's very funny on the commentary because he says more than once, I haven't watched this movie since it came out. This is so good. I wish we didn't have to talk about it right now. He's like, I just want to watch. But also one of the only things he doesn't remember at all when Mostow's bringing up is that I guess there was a version of the script that had a total like buddy character, like a local who ends up helping Jeff throughout almost the entire thing. And that Mostow basically said he wrote thinking of Morgan Freeman as he wrote it. And that Russell, Mostow is telling Russell this because Russell doesn't remember this at all. He's like, yeah, the first script you read had this other character that helps him throughout the whole movie. And you said to me, this just feels really extraneous. And I agreed and we cut him. And then Russell's like, man, I don't remember that at all. He's like, maybe if you told me you had Morgan Freeman in mind, I would have said, don't cut it. We got to get Morgan. But that didn't happen.
He's so hot right now.
Right.
All right.
Getting
That was
off,
Breakdown,
Disney
everyone. That was the Kurt Russell thriller from 1997, Breakdown. And we will be back next week with the groundbreaking, game-changing, seminal sci-fi film, The Matrix, which is now returning after a few decades to theaters for a follow-up. And so we will have seen all three and recapped all three for you by the time that movie comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric, what song do they play in Matrix Resurrections trailer?
They play the White Rabbit by Jefferson Starship.
And then it gets folded into the score orchestrally for the trailer and works super great. What song was the end credit song for the game?
Well, I said Jefferson Starship was Jefferson Airplane at the time. What was it? Was it White Rabbit?
Yes.
I haven't seen the game
it's
forever.
all connected. Eric, the game is, if we ever do another one-off, I mean, we could do a David Fincher block.
We could also do Fincher Fest.
But the game is great.
Fincher Fest.
I know at the time the game got a little shit on because people were, once you do a certain type of ending, and Shyamalan knows this, people expect it from every other movie you do. And the game was the follow-up to 7?
Yeah.
Fincher-wise?
It was in between 7 and Fight Club.
Game is great. Anyway.
And I'm going to see 7 in a couple weeks at the New Beverly, but at some point we should do Fincher Fest.
All right. Until then, until next week when we talk about The Matrix, everything's possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma, you busted.
Shakma.